Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to Read Aloud Time. Today we're going to read chapter 4 called I Get Lucky in the series book Julian's Glorious Summer. But before I begin reading, I want to recap what happened right at the end of chapter 3 so we can refresh our memories and kind of remember our prediction. So at the end of chapter 3, Julian was telling his dad a story about why Gloria said he has to work. And he had to think of something quickly to come up with and something that makes sense. Now, what I want you to think, do you think that he's going to come up with another fib? Because we know he's always fibbing, right? And then his dad will eventually either believe him and he gets away with it, or do you think that his dad might not believe him and he might not get away with it? Let's read to find out. But before we begin reading, as always, we learned some new vocabulary words. So here we go. Here are some words you might see as I read in chapter 4. The word is called brace, something used to hold another thing in place. Collapse means when something has fell down. Polished means when something is made shiny. Numb is when you're not able to feel, so your body gets numb. All right, here are those vocabulary words, and let's begin reading chapter 4. I get lucky. Gloria didn't understand, I said to my dad. I did tell her you had a lot of jobs around the house, but what I meant was I want to work a lot this summer. I want to save money for when I am grown up, I added. My father got into one of his thinking positions. He spread his feet out, he curled his right hand up in a fist and stuck it between his knees and his chin, like a brace. Now, let me try to understand this, he said. You are 7 years old. You want to work practically night and day, all summer long, to save money for when you are grown up? So I'm noticing that Julian is up to something here again. And I decided to jot that Julian tries to come up with another fib to get himself out of trouble. And now his father's really trying to understand, why would Julian want to work over the summer? He's a little confused here. Now I want you to think, do you think he will enjoy lying all the time? Or do you think it'll backfire on him? So remember we learned in the blurb said that he almost gets away with it until his fib backfires? Do you think that the fibbing this time will backfire on him? Meaning come back to him in a not so nice way? I want you to think about this. All right, let's read on to the next page. Yes, I said, I want to save money for a race car. Do you know how much a race car costs? Not exactly, but you want to work practically night and day all summer long to buy one? Definitely, I said. I guess what my father would say next. I guess he would say he didn't have that many jobs for me. In my mind, I practiced saying, that's okay, Dad, I don't mind. My dad said, well, Julian, you're in luck. I think I can keep you busy practically all day, all summer long. We'll skip the nights, he said. Well, what do you say, Julian? Terrible, I said. I mean, terribly nice of you. I mean, work, wonderful. What luck. I raised my hands to heaven the way Dad does. Then I collapsed on the grass. I didn't get up for a long time. Why did Julian collapse on the grass? What do you think? How do you think he's feeling? Give you about a second or two to think about this. How do you think he's feeling and why did he collapse on the grass? So Julian is feeling shocked because his dad actually believed him, even though Julian really doesn't want to work, right? He thought he would get away this time, right? Is Julian's problem getting worse or is it getting better? I'm gonna give you about a minute to think about this. Is Julian's problem getting worse or is it getting better? Two more minutes. Alrighty. How many agree that Julian's problem is getting worse? Because now that he told his fib, his father actually believes him, right? And Julian isn't so lucky. So I'm going to write this down. Julian's problem is getting worse because now that he told this fib, his father actually believes him and will put him to work. Julian is not so lucky after all. He thought he could escape by fibbing again. So what do we learn about Julian? Not only is he a fibber, but he tries to be a trickster. I think I want to jot that down. Julian tries to trick everyone he can just to get away from his problem. Good job, boys and girls. Now, look at Julian. He doesn't look so happy. He's like, oh my God, why did I do this? Now, this is the end of chapter 4, and I really want you to think. Julian's having like many little problems, but there's one big problem, and now his big problem is getting even worse. The next chapter that we will be reading is called To Each His Own. I want you to think, based on what's happening so far, now that his dad said what he said, do you think that now he's going to have to pay for what he did? Do you think now it's going to really backfire on him? Like, do you think he'll like doing all this hard work that he was fibbing about to other people? Alrighty, I want you to think about those questions so that when we read chapter 5, you'll be ready to go. Alrighty, have a good afternoon.